I'm going to record this today. I've got my little camera so that if you have questions, it'll show up. I'm going to put it in what we're going to show you in a minute. So if you want to go back to it and you miss something, after tonight, you'll be able to go in and see the recording from today. What I have not broadcast to people, just because I don't want to give people reasons to not be here, because being here for these in-session ones is always better. But we're going to record these, so if you have to miss one of the 4 on-site ones, don't give up. You'll be able to see the recording. Everything else is, I mean, you can do this 100% online. It's just not as rich and not the same, right? So don't say, oh, well, I've got a family thing on the second week, I'm just not going to finish. Don't let that be a reason. First of all, let me just thank you for registering like you were asked to do. And I'm about to ask you to do something different, but and that's because the platform pulled itself out from under me Friday night, and so we're gonna fix that in a minute. I wanted to cover this morning kind of the purpose. Like I said, today is just to show you how this is going to work. I said from the stage a couple of weeks ago, this is not your grandpa's discipleship class. There's going to be technology involved, and part of that so that to give you the freedom. If you're like me, putting 10 weeks together at 9 o'clock every Sunday is a difficult task because of life, family. So we're doing 4. We're skipping Easter. And the rest of it, we're going to be in contact with one another online. We'll be doing some Zoom calls maybe if you want to jump on and have questions. I'll be engaged with you individually and as a class. I am a classroom educator by training, and so I am approaching this like that, okay? Part of me saying that this is not your grandpa's discipleship is because this is not going to be a spoon feeding of things. My purpose in this is not to tell you what you're supposed to believe. It's to put tools in your tool bag to let you go and look in God's face and let Him lead you and guide you in some things. That's the whole purpose, okay, is to equip you to get out there and do what God has for you to do. Expectations for this particular class. You will have to put in work, and you will get out of it exactly what you put in. It's kind of like anything else. And so as the lessons progress past about lesson 4, week 5, you're going to see a shift in the class from me telling some things into you figuring out some things, okay? And it's done that way on purpose. I just want to prep you for that. So if it's jarring to you that you're just accustomed to, okay, somebody tell me what I'm supposed to believe, this is not it, all right? As a matter of fact, as you ask questions even, there will be times I'm intentionally vague with you. Don't get put off by that. That's on purpose. All right? But the expectations are if you don't do your work through the week, you will be behind, and I'm not going to chase you. That's just what it is, and you'll get out of it what you put in. I will say most weeks, the way I like to lay things out where you'll do some work through the week that will prepare you for next week's meeting. So you've got assignments to do, but those are little. They're like 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Some of the longest ones are maybe 10 minutes. And there are about 3 to 5 of those in a week, except for this coming week. This coming week is the busiest week. There's 9 of them. All right? But they're short, and that's on purpose. All right? So you can get them done. Use this as your quiet time through the weeks. If you need to do that, if you're like, hey, dude, I got 20 minutes a day. I got little kids or whatever, then do this, okay? Meditate on these things. There is work. Again, the model that we're working with here is I want to teach you how to fish, not give you all the fish, not even give you all the bait, all right? Because we need, as disciples, we need to know how to figure stuff out with the Lord, right? Am I the only one who's ever wondered what in the world the Lord's doing with me? Okay? We're going to talk about how to at least get close to some of that, okay? It's what we call a hybrid model. We're going to meet for 4 weeks, and I was telling somebody we're going to meet this week, next week, skip Easter, and then we're going to go the 2 weeks after that, and then it'll all be online at that point. I've been doing online education in some form or fashion for almost 15 years, since it kind of started being a thing, really ramped up in COVID, have really found it to be helpful. We've already had a couple of people sign up. I know that we're like, hey, I've got children. I can't be there at 9, and we're doing this for them. We didn't broadcast it that way. It's not really designed that way, but it is possible. So it's letting us reach some people. We've actually got a couple of people that are only tuning in from their online viewers of Cross Brand. They're not here. They can't, they don't live in the state. And so that's another thing that this allows us to do. Let's see. You are also, every lesson almost has a few, and we're going to go over what this looks like here in just a minute. Short answer questions. You will find my teaching style in this kind of an environment is I like to ask open-ended questions. When I was teaching speech and debate at Martin's Mill, that was kind of the thing. Kids would come into speech class, communications, and that's a walk class, right? That's an easy A. They would spend the first week being taught. I gave a test every Friday, and the highest grade in about 5 years of teaching that, 2 semesters each. One semester class, so 10 classes. The highest grade on my first test was a 36. Okay? Because it was just done in a way that they didn't expect. And the way that is I expect people to get the knowledge and then apply it. That's the real where the nuts and the bolts are. You can have stuff up here, but if you can't use it, it's not any good to you. And so you'll see questions like that of how can you apply what you just learned? What does that look like on a random Thursday? Not just a Sunday school answer for a check the A, B, or C, but how do you incorporate what you're learning into actually living in the presence of Christ? Does that make sense? So I just wanted to kind of prep you for that. For some people, that's different, okay? In the lessons, you're going to have those, they're going to be videos. When this is all finished, there will be about 50 to 60 short 2, 3, 4 minute videos. Unfortunately, it's just of my mug, okay? But every lesson pretty much will have a video that really closely mirrors the text that's also in the lesson. So if you're like, I hate videos, I just want to read it, you can read it, okay? There'll be extra stuff in the videos, I ain't gonna lie, because that's how my brain works. But if you're just a visual person, and you're like, I just want a video, man, everything's gonna have a video, and you can watch it, and then there'll be questions to answer after it. There'll be other materials in there, like go download this app, or go to this link, or here's a PDF. Like today, everybody's gonna get a book that you need for this week's lessons for how to study the Bible. I'm gonna give that to you today. If you miss it, if I don't know, you gave yours away, it falls out of your purse on the way to the car, there's a PDF of it in the lesson. Just download it, print it out, okay? There are some apps that you're gonna need to download. They're in a lesson, so I don't wanna spend time doing that today necessarily. But the Blue Letter Bible, if you don't have that, you're gonna need it, okay? It is the best free Bible study app on the planet. It's got all kinds of stuff. Hopefully one day soon we're going to get to do our How to Study the Bible, which is what you're going to do starting today through next Sunday is a crash course in our How to Study the Bible seminar that we do. It's about 6 to 8 hours, and there's more on that in the lessons, but you're getting a crash course, okay? Blue Letter Bible is fantastic. You're going to need Google Classroom. Here's the problem. Y'all all signed up on a platform called Teachable. And y'all got in all that. It's great. I went in Friday night to start responding to some of y'all's answers and realized I couldn't see them. Because the platform that I paid for, somewhere in the last little bit, has moved that interactive portion to another tier that's $1,500 up. I said, no, thank you. And I've used this platform many times with no issue. I didn't realize they'd moved it to the next tier. That's their business. So we're going to move today to a different platform that's free that we have with our ministry, and it's actually for the class. It's called Google Classroom. And then I am going to ask you to download. I'll show you this in a second. Watch my time. Our ministry app, The Crucible's Fire, and the reason for that is also all these videos and this stuff is going to also show up in that app. We're double dipping here. And everything we do, we like to keep and we like to put it on there. So if you get lost, you miss a session, you'll be able to go back to it. Yes, ma'am. No, that's what we're fixing to go through. All right, so here's what we want to do. Because we have to switch, we're going to migrate you. I set aside today to get everybody online, all right? We're going to migrate from Teachable to Google Classroom. Has anybody ever seen Google Classroom before? And I figure my afternoon session with the 20-somethings, they're probably already there doing it just because of intuition, all right? And so that's what we're going to do. You will need, here's the caveat, you will need a Google account. I'm going to show you, we're going to walk through today how to do that if you don't have one. If you signed up and have a Gmail account already, this is going to be super simple for you. All right, super simple. If you've got Yahoo or Ymail, or God forbid you're still on AOL, really? Oh my Lord. Does it still work? Yeah. If you have Gmail and you check it, then use your Gmail. If you have something else and you're like, dude, I've had this email for 1,000 years, I ain't getting away from it, I'm going to show you a way to use that to create a Google account. The trick is you can only do it on a computer. You cannot do it on the app because Google sometimes is stupid. All right? So what we want to do, and by the way, you guys are the pioneers, right? We're going to work out all the kinks over the next 10 weeks. We are going to offer this again probably in the fall. And our goal right now is twice a year to offer this. And we're going to get better every time. Y'all are the first class. So all the problems will be in this group. All right? Are y'all okay with that? I hope so because it's going to happen. All right. So is there anybody that's on a laptop and not an app? Who all's on a laptop right now? Okay, laptop. Yours is going to be a little different. Gmail or no Gmail? Gmail? Okay, even better. Let me get to my right notes here. If you are on a phone or an iPad or a tablet, go ahead, I'm going to take this back. Go ahead and download and grab the Google Classroom app. And it's just called Google Classroom. It's free. Don't worry, it doesn't cost a dime. Let me get I'm going to show you. If you're on a laptop, you're going to go to classroom.google.com. And I'm not broadcasting the right thing. You can't see that, can you? Let's do this. Where's the youth TV? Come on. Yeah, it's coming. I may have to stop doing. It's coming. It just takes it a minute. All right. If you are, alrighty, if you're on a laptop, there's your website, classroom.google.com. If you're on an app, this is what it looks like. Bottom right corner, it's got a little green square with a little white person on it, with a little gold. That's it. Y'all see that? Man, the glare is awful. But that's the one. And when you open it, actually it won't look like that for you. Let me. Okay, yes. Y'all bear with me. Bear with me. We're going to get you there. I'm just getting 8 people at the same time. All right. When you get to the Google Classroom, and first thing it's going to ask you to do is to sign in, okay, to your Google account. If you have a Gmail, just sign in with your Gmail, okay, use and hop in there. When you get into the app or into the website, it's going to ask you for a class code. It's going to say nothing. And there's going to be a button that says join the class. I can actually show you that. Unfortunately, they don't have the same interfaces between the app and the... And if I lose you, don't worry, we'll catch you up. And you can even stay after church today and finish. Oh, I just took the code away from y'all, didn't I? That wasn't very kind. I wasn't thinking about the fact that y'all were sitting there pushing in the code while let me put it back on. This will be the most complicated day, I promise. All right, you want the code? Code right there. There's your class code. 7JGOUV. That's the class code. No, you just got to sign up one time. Is everybody in? Who's not in? If you're a tech nerd, help the non-tech nerds near you. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. I stayed up till 2 o'clock Saturday morning making a transition over here because I wrestled with, do we just figure out a way? Yeah. It's okay. No, if you want to, you're welcome to, but if you've already done them, I wouldn't. I'd pick up. It's going to be fine. And if she brings up a good point while we're getting everybody online, if you are at the point where it says print out this book, I'm going to give you one if you don't want to print it out. And so we're going to take care of that. And so, all right, who's not online yet? What do we need to do to help you? Okay, so you're going to have to, can you just watch and follow along until you get to a computer? If you don't have a Google account, when you go to sign up, it's going to say, hey, sign in with your Google account. Well, you don't have one. And so you go to create an account. And then it's going to give you these suggestions for, do you want it to be abc@gmail, 123@gmail? But if you're on a computer, it gives you an option at the bottom that says, use my own email. And then you can put in whatever email you want to put in there, create the Google account, and then you'll get all the stuff. And feel free to, okay, we're good. Anybody else need help before we move on? I don't want to leave anybody behind. One of my rules in classes that I teach, if you get behind, it's your fault because you didn't say anything. Because I don't mind stopping and waiting, okay? All right. We good? All right, well, let's actually get, as everybody now, you're logged in, but do you see the actual class? That's the big question that I have for you. Okay, so I'm going to join you. Let me go to the class and let me join you. So you should see something that looks sort of like that. Yes? Okay. Now, the nifty thing about this platform is I'm already developing other classes. I've been doing this for a long time. I got them on other places. We're going to bring them all under this for Cross-Brand, okay? And so there'll be other things that we do. Some of them we won't meet. They'll just be available. We'll let you know, and you can just go and learn on your own. Fruits of the Spirit, just more targeted education as it comes through. And so this is where you'll find that. Right now we have one class in here, and it's Foundation. So click on Foundations and go into it, and you should see something that looks like that. Y'all give me some, you're with me? Can you, yours, if you're on a laptop, it'll look a little different. Did you get logged into the class?
Yeah, I got logged in. I see the class.
Okay, that's all I need. Just what I want to do this morning is show you the different parts of the class, okay? One of the things that this does for us, now when we're meeting, we're going to talk about stuff. Starting next week, we're not going to be doing tech stuff. We're going to be talking about the material, okay? But during the weeks that we're not meeting, or during the week when you hit a roadblock, we're going to be using this platform. You can ask questions, like a class. It's a bit online classroom discussion, okay? The only thing I ask is no keyboard warriors, all right? When this ain't Facebook, okay? On this front page is the discussion. This is our discussion board, okay? And it's called, if you look at the bottom, it's called the stream. I have no idea why they call it that, but that's what it is. You cannot make a post to this. You can only reply, okay? So I'll be posting stuff like this. You'll see me pop something in there, all right, that says just a question. Like this one's, answer these 2 questions. And what you'll do is you'll hit reply. You kind of jump in there, and I can see, oh, y'all are already doing it. See how easy this is? Do y'all know? Add comment. At the bottom? Click on the comments.
Okay.
And then, okay. If you click on the comments, and then at the bottom it says add class comment. Now, here's what yes? Okay. Now, everything, I'm going to cover more of this in a minute. Just know that everything that you do on this front page, everybody can see. That's the point. Okay? So if you've got a deep, dark secret, that's not the place to let it out. All right? Just hold that for yourself. Okay. The meat and the taters is in the classwork tab. See in the middle? So let's go to the classwork tab. We've got this broken down by week. Okay? To me, it's pretty self-explanatory. Week 1, lesson 1. All right? And it should be. But granted, we're already past week 1. Okay? The way I set up my classes is all the classwork will be due the Saturday before we meet. In normal circumstances. I didn't do it that way this time because we had to move platforms. All right? So I gave you till next week if you wanted to go back and do all that. But starting this week, the idea is that you get lessons 1 through 9 done before we get here on next Sunday. Okay? So that we can spend that limited time talking about where you have problems, where you got hung up, epiphanies that God shared with you, things that you learned, and we can actually have some deeper discussion. I don't want to spend 45 minutes beating all the problems out. That's the idea. Work those out. Now, when you go into a lesson, I'll just use 2.0. I'll go into tomorrow. I'll just say it's tomorrow's. There's 2 tabs on that one. There's student work, which y'all can see all the people, and then there's the instructions. Everything just about has this written section, okay, that corresponds to the video. They're not identical. It's not a transcript, but they're very similar. And you'll just go in, and some of them, like if you want to make a class comment about that, feel free. That's what this is for. Just, hey guys, I thought this was great, or whatever. Put it in there. Now, some of the lessons, and I'm looking for some that will have it. I know this one does on application. Some of them will have, if you can see it there, if you go into lesson number 2.8, into the instructions, and y'all can go right along with me. There'll be a form. This one's called 2.8 application questions, okay? Anything that you answer or type in those things, when you have to push it and it comes up with another document, those are going to be private. Only I get to see those. So if you have a deep, dark secret, I still don't want to know about it. But if you need me to know about it, that'd be the place, okay? You can also, in the work there, you can send me messages. I'm looking for the place where it's at. Does it show? Okay, good deal. And that just emails me. That's all it does. Okay. Let me go back to my notes. Make sure I'm covering everything here.
So this application that you're showing us now is different from what was already on there?
Yes, because that's.
I gotta go back into my computer and do it all over again.
Yes, but I will help you. Okay. Okay. If you need it. If you'll, before we leave, if you'll give me your email, I'll send you a link, and all you gotta do is just click it, and it'll take you through it.
Yeah, I'm not worried, that's,
Easy stuff.
I'm not worried about it.
Okay. Good.
Because I've already done some of the lessons, like you were just saying, I'm gonna go back in.
Let me also say that if you've already, that's a great point. If you've already done some of the lessons, you don't have to do them again. Okay. You could just mark them as done. You have the option when you've read it, you've watched it. I will say this: when you complete a lesson, please mark it as done. There's nothing for you to turn in. This platform's actually kind of designed where you can go create a Word document, create stuff, create creative things, and then turn them in to me to grade if we were in a regular class. Well, we're not doing that. But when you get finished with it, mark it as done so that I know how everybody's doing. Okay? Because it's extremely helpful to me to see if somebody's having trouble with a particular piece of content or a particular idea. So if you can mark it as done, if you don't, and you get a letter, an email from me saying, hey, I noticed that we're in week 4 and you're still on week 1, is that on purpose? You know, and that's what that, so that'll help me for you to mark it as done.
That's the same arrow at the bottom of the app. There's like an arrow at the bottom of the lesson. You click it up, and then there at the very bottom it says mark as done.
Okay. I just realized I'm not seeing it because I'm the teacher. It's like, wait, where's mine? That's because I'm the teacher. Which, let me just fix that.
Yeah, I see your math test in there.
Yep. Let me go to this guy. Oh, you kidding me? I didn't put my student account on here. Oh well. No, I'm gonna fix it. Y'all just gonna watch me log in. How's that sound? In my account list, did I just miss it? Yeah, but I'm not logged into his Matt test. You got to be logged in. Yes, it's just like school. Okay, this will be better. I'll show you in a student. This is better because now I'm in a student account. So I'll have everything you have. I just realized I was in my teacher account. Okay, I do want to show you on the top lesson. The lessons are numbered. And because I'm a computer programmer, the first one's a 0. 1.0 is really the first one, but that's how programmers number things. The first thing is always in a list is 0. I don't know why. I just realized last night that that's how my brain works, and so that's why it's 0. But the bottom 2 have the little red question mark. Okay, those are, I was about to say something that sounded dumb. I was going to say those are questions, but that actually means something in this platform. There's lessons, and then there's questions. And they're 2 different things. The lesson is just think of that as instruction. There's going to be a video. Now, the question is going to be more like a classroom discussion question. And if it's in this form, on this list with that little red thing, that means everybody can see what you write. Okay? So I wanted to make sure that you didn't think you were just answering it to me. Now, I will also tell you that if you go in there, and I say it in this one, you know, what are some things or some circumstances that maybe are preventing you from growing in the Lord? And you're like, man, I've got a situation that you probably need to know about, Matt, and maybe you'd like some help with, but I really don't want to tell the whole class. That's where you go to the private comment. And you can just send it to me. Okay, that's fine. We'll deal with it. All right? But other than that, it's classroom discussion under those questions. Okay? Okay. All right. So we're actually doing really well. We've done that. y'all get an A. I do have some special gifts. Yes, ma'am. Good question. Did y'all hear her question? Okay. Honestly, it's completely up to you. I can't see your answers from the other one to bring them over. If you want to bring them over, that would be fantastic. I'm also trying to be benevolent and not say, please do that. It's like, whatever you feel comfortable with, we're early enough in it, it's going to be fine. But it would be great if you'd go snag those other question answers and bring them over so I can see where we are. But like she was saying, man, what was your name again? No, you. This one? Yeah. Espy? Spell that. Oh, that was nice. I was waiting for like a silent Q or something. Okay, Espy. Funny story, I told one of my kids one time that his name had a silent Q and a silent 7, and he believed me. And he got into an argument with the lunch lady in the lunch line because about his name having a 7 and a Q in it. It was great. I let him believe that for almost a whole year. If you've already done some of the Bible study stuff leading up to this week, you don't have to go back and do it in here. You can just mark it as done unless it's beneficial to you, okay? Because really this week is a lot more of just running you through paces of how to do stuff, okay? It's a lot less of me exploring and getting information out of you. So if you've already done some of the lesson 202122 on the Bible study part, that's just so you know how. So if you're good, just mark it as done and let's go, okay? So leave it totally up to you. Now as we progress, it's going to be more important to have those answers over so we can see what everybody's up to. Class discussion. Man, we're doing great. I was expecting this to not go well. And not because of you all, just because of the size of the group. Marking is done. We've covered that. All right, classwork. Any questions in the classwork tab? And I'll give y'all also a little hint. In lesson 1.2, this one has a video, a basic how to use Google Classroom video, okay, that shows y'all all this stuff. So if you have something, and I didn't make it, yes, ma'am. And there's no video? I don't know. Before we get out of here, let me look at it. Okay. That's interesting. Is anybody else not seeing videos? Okay. She's on a laptop. I'm wondering if there's something weird and screwy there. We'll look at it when we're done here. Okay. The last tab is People tab. You can see there everybody's names. Now you can actually message each other if you'd like. Knock yourself out. We're grown-ups. Okay? Do what? Yeah. Yeah, you may not be in there. So you can only see 7? Never mind. Yep. And so if you I think they'll let you message people. Maybe they won't. It doesn't look like they do. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about this week for a minute. So before I do that, everybody's in, everybody's logged in, yes? Everybody sees the class. Everybody understands how to navigate the class. Okay. Yeah, ish. All right. Trust me, it's once you get and you do a couple of lessons, honestly, it'll just be like, okay, no big deal. I like using my phone and or an iPad if you have it, simply because of the way that it's just simple. Okay? The web is fine too. It's really similar, a little bit of differences, but it's in your pocket. You're sitting at a doctor's office, you can knock out 2 or 3 lessons. And that was part of the reason of doing it this way, is to make that happen. I'm going to give you all a book. Can y'all just start passing these around? I want to talk about this book, and I do this in some of the videos too. This is the student manual that we use on teaching people how to study. In the videos, I made those videos for the other platform. And so you're going to hear me say stuff like, write it down in your book, but put your answers in on here. It may look a little different because we've jumped platforms and I'm not remaking the videos. Okay? But having said that, this is for you. There's a part of adult learning theory. When you write stuff down, here's more. Thank you, Miss Charlie. If we run out, we're going to make some more. All I had was I just had a few of them, and we printed some, and then my printer died yesterday as well. So it's just been, I'm like, no, devil, you're not having this one. You're going to be asked to write stuff down. It's very important. Y'all please hear me say this. Don't skip that step. Writing down. The very first thing you're going to get into when we start the Bible study portion of this week's lesson, when you get to the text, it's going to say, copy down, and we're using Acts 16 through 19. We're going to study that passage throughout the whole week. And it says, write it down. Please don't skip that. You say, well, I've got my online stuff. Yes, I know. But adult learning theory tells us when you write something, your ability to remember it and to digest and process it exponentially goes up. Not just a little. The curve is steep on how much you retain knowledge and process the knowledge. When I was in the classroom, as my kids walked in the classroom, I would tell them, get something to write with, something to write on. I want you to take notes. You guess what my first question was immediately? Am I going to get graded on my notes? Do I have to turn it in? And my answer was always no. I don't care what you write something, because it's the way the human brain works. If you've ever been in a classroom, you see maybe you're the person that always doodled while you were listening, and your teacher thought you weren't paying attention, but if you ever stopped doodling, you'd have no idea what's happening in the world. Okay, that's me. That's because there's a kinetic connection between your brain and what your hands are doing for most human beings. So please do the work in the book. And then also put your answers in the class so I can see them, because I can't see your book. All right? This is for you to get it down really well. By next Sunday, you should have a pretty good grasp on the basic method of Bible study that we're teaching in this course. Okay? There's more to it that we're not going to be able to cover this week. I mean, we hit it at 30,000 feet. But one of the reasons I asked you to download my ministry app, and I'll show it to you, it's that when you go to the app stores, at the top it says Crucible. It's got this little fire symbol. This is what it looks like. And the reason that I'm asking you to download that is when you go to the English media, there's a tab in there called Bible Study. And what this is there are 13 videos of a Saturday workshop where we taught the how to study the Bible stuff in depth. There's a lot of stuff in these videos that you're not going to get this week just by doing what I'm providing for you in this class. This is totally optional, but if you're like, dude, that was cool, I want to go deeper, then these are laid out with the same titles. You'll be able to go, I wanted to know more about observation. Well, there's like 3 of those in here that'll go more in depth, okay? So that's just a resource, okay, for you if you want to go deeper this week, because this week we're just going 30,000 feet, all right? I'm going to give you a screwdriver, a hammer, and a wrench, and a tool bag. But if you'd like, some depth mics, and you'd like some different screwdrivers of different sizes, then go dig a little deeper on your time. Does that make sense? The other thing that I would say about our little app that I developed and happen to really like is it's got tons of resources for you. You can actually get to Blue Letter Bible from in here. There's all kinds of training in there. Just our podcast is in there, just all kind of stuff. It's just a good resource for stuff. So that's for if you want to go deeper. We're also going to put all of the videos from these classes, the little shorties, these that we're recording in the sessions, they're all going to go in here too. Okay? Okay. No, they'll be under media, English media, and then there'll be a separate tile, and it'll say foundations. It'll have that blue familiar graphic, so you'll know where it's at. What else did I want to cover? Y'all did great. We're 5 minutes early. Yes. Let's look. Yep. Do you see that? Type your answer at the bottom. Does yours say that? That's it. That's it. That's all there is to it. Yes.
So, I made a mistake of downloading the Crystal Spire Academy, so we need to make sure we do the Crystal Spire.
Yes. She makes a good point. There are two apps. We do have two apps, and the second app is actually served up through the first one. So there's a Crucibles Fire Academy and the Crucibles Fire. You want to make sure you get the one with the black square and the little flame. Any questions? Yes. Okay. She actually raises up a great point. Let me go back in there. I've got more than 2 weeks done, but you won't see them until it's time. Okay? Part of that's just to keep you from being like, oh my goodness, there's 47,000 lessons. All right? And as a caveat to that, next Saturday night, all 9 of this week's lessons will close. Like, you won't be able to answer them anymore. They have due dates. It'll be midnight on Saturday. Yeah, it'll be midnight on Saturday. And that's midnight on Saturday before we meet on Sunday. That week's lessons will be due and closed. Okay? That's just a level of hard accountability for us to get through them. Because in my experience of doing this for 30 years, is people, oh, I'll catch up when I get there. I don't want us to do that. I want to be careful. And so what will happen is tomorrow morning. Now, this week's different because week 2 is so big. But after week 2, we'll meet on Sunday. We'll talk about all that you've learned and how much of a scholar you are now. And then Monday morning, week 3, all of week 3 will show up. And then after that, all of week 4 will show up. And we'll just do that until we get done. Now, my plan is after we're done on the last week, I don't know if we'll get to do it the last week just because of my schedule, but either the last or the next Sunday, we're going to meet for a last hurrah. Okay? And it's not a schedule, but just maybe we'll have some donuts and coffee and fellowship and just kind of see what we can do better, what went well, what didn't go well, and those sorts of things, and just have some fellowship time after we finish this course. I also have some gifts for you at the end if you make it. All right? So stay through. There'll be door prizes, but at that last meeting. Any questions? We got 2 minutes. Anybody got any questions that we need to? I want to look at your videos. Any others? I will say this. If you need to contact me during the week, whether it's content related, hey, Matt, I don't agree with you on this thing. You're off base. You're a nut. Or my stuff's not working. You can just go into any lesson and go down to ask me a question. Yep, there you go. Okay? And ask me a private, and that it will email me and say, I'm having trouble, and I don't care what lesson you go into. If it's an unrelated random question, just say, this is not related to this assignment, but I'm having trouble with, and I'll help you. Okay? I work from home, so I've got some ability to respond, and I'll try to be as responsive as I can. Any questions? Let's pray. Father, we love you. We thank you for your word, for your mercy and your grace. I pray that you would help us today to be diligent, to rightly divide the word of truth, and Lord, to just learn more about you and be transformed into your image so that we can just do what you've called us to do. Thank you for this group. Give them the encouragement to be diligent. Lord, we ask you to stay the enemy, to keep us from finishing. Lord, I just pray you give us endurance. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank y'all. It's going to be fun. See y'all next week.